Hey guys, I'm Gavin. This is Not Your Mama's Cookin', episode 2, brought to you by the Gordo Vaquero. Go pick yourself up a bottle of the Exxtra Caliente today. I just want to let y'all know all today's recipes will be in the description box below. Go ahead and check them out. Also check out the GordoVaquero.com. Pick yourself up a bottle of the Desert Mix and the Exxtra Caliente today. Also, if you guys like this video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. And if you guys want to see more awesome videos, go ahead and subscribe. And I'll be posting videos as much as possible. Check YouTube and the website, thegordovaquero.com. We're doing some hobo potatoes with these red potatoes. Do a little bit of a Tex-Mex twist to them, and we're going to be doing a sweet and spicy pork chop. Alright guys, so over here I've got my Dutch oven heating up. I already browned some chorizo, and I've got a little bit of olive oil in there. That's what's sizzling, is the leftover chorizo and the olive oil. I'm going to take these 2 jalapenos I've sliced up already. I'm going to throw those in there, get that nice sizzle going. I've also got 2 teaspoons of garlic, my bad. I'm gonna throw those in on top of that. Get everything going nice and loud. Ooh, that smells good. After I give those a little stir, I'm gonna go ahead and take my salt. Add a little bit of salt, not too much, just to help bring out the aromatics. Alright, so what we're doing over here is we're just trying to get a good color on these jalapenos, cook them down so they've got a nice little bite to them, and we're going to go ahead and let that garlic kind of roast a little bit, bring out those aromatics. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to add this chorizo that I already browned. This is pork chorizo. We're going to add this in, stir it up real good, and add our chorizo. Now these jalapenos are cooking down a little bit. It's been sitting in here for a minute. I'm going to have to use my spatula. Stir it around, and we're going to go ahead and turn the heat down because it's smelling spicy in here. And go ahead and mix that chorizo around nice and good until it's all mixed in very well. And I'm going to take a nice heaping scoop of butter, about 3 tablespoons, maybe 3.5 tablespoons. Throw that in, let it melt over the chorizo. Stir that around so it melts. Now we're going to go ahead and add our red potatoes. Now these are halved and quartered, just kind of depending to get them all the same size. You want a uniform size in them. We're going to go ahead and add those in there. And now we're going to stir those up and get them all coated in the grease from the chorizo and the butter and all the gooey goodness. And we're going to go ahead and turn the heat back up to high. All right, I got 3/4 cups of I've got 3/4 cup of vegetable stock here. I'm gonna go ahead and add a 1/4 cup. I'm saving the other 1/2 cup for the pork chops. Stir that in there. You make sure all these potatoes are down on the bottom layer so they're not stacked on top of each other. Now I've got some lovely queso fresco here. I'm going to add into this. And just take it, break it up, crumble it, kind of like blue cheese or whatever you want to relate it to. Some people would relate it to some ganja. Certain person I know that only likes to break his shit up with his hands, Elijah. And then we're gonna add some of this Mexican blend cheese, shredded cheese, just Kroger Mexican blend. I add that in on top, just like so. Take a handful of green onions with my clean hand, since I add just a small, or actually we'll do about half the green onions I have. So I have 2 bushels of green onions, and we'll do about 1 bushel of green onions. Then we're gonna stir that a little bit, not a lot. You wanna keep it kind of messy. Make sure everything's still one layer. We're gonna cap it, and we're gonna throw it in the oven. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and add our Hobo potatoes to our preheated oven. I have it preheated to 420, wink, wink. We're gonna add that in. Oh, use this. Use work smarter, not set that right in the middle of our preheated oven. Now we're gonna do 15-minute timer, and we'll check on in 15 minutes. Alright guys, so we got our cast iron skillet preheating over here. We want to get it nice and hot because we need a good sear on these pork chops right away. I'm going to take the new Exxxtra Caliente version of the Gordo Vaquero. Ooh, look at those sexy labels. Yes. Crafted in the USA, you know, cowboy up. Well, what? But what we're going to do, we're going to pop that lid open. I did already take the seal off. I'm going to take it. We're going to season our chops, both sides. We're going to season them nice and good. Give it a good shake. Now when you're seasoning these, you want to make sure you lift the bottle up about at least a foot above the whatever you're seasoning. That way this gives it time to spread out as it goes. You know, when the Salt Bay guy, he would always do his stuff way up here. And that's really just so it's spread out before it hit the ground. It has nothing to do with his fucking elbow. Alright, so we got our pork chop seasoned both sides. What we're going to do, we're going to take it, throw it in this hot as hell pan, and we're going to sear it both sides. And we're going to put it back on the plate. I actually got enough room, I'm going to throw a second one in there. Keep it a little longer. Alright, so I've got an idea.
What?
I seared these 2 pork chops in olive oil. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some butter and I'm going to coat these other 2 pork chops and see what the difference is. So I'm going to take it. I'm just going to coat this side in butter. Yeah, I don't know why I'm holding that towel. Not a lot, just a little bit. It's about a teaspoon per chop. So after we buttered these 2 chops, we're going to go ahead and throw them butter side down on this skillet and see how the sear comes out like that. Because, you know, I like me some butter in my pork chops.
Bloopers.
Go ahead and sear the other side. Make sure you get that nice golden brown color on there, like so. Then we're gonna come over here and we're gonna crush up those chili lime almonds that I made earlier today. Link will be in the description below. Alright, so we're gonna take these chili lime almonds that I roasted earlier. Since I wanted to use peanuts, but Kroger, Meijer, and Walmart, none of those places had raw peanuts. Thank you, COVID-19. So I decided to use almonds. We're going to crunch these up a little bit. They don't have to be super crunched up, just kind of broken up. You know, a little bit, not uniform, keep it kind of ugly. So you got a bag full of almond pieces. Some, not one whole almond in there. Oh, yeah, not one whole almond in there. Alright, so now we've got our 4 seared pork chops. That butter sear did look a lot better than the other sear. We're going to take our butter knife and I'm going to put about another tablespoon of butter in here. I did turn the the stovetop off, so it is just the heat from the pan right now. I don't want to burn the butter. I do want it just to melt. It'll brown a little bit, but it won't burn. Now that we got our butter melted, we're gonna add our pork chops back to the butter. Make sure I can fit all these boys in there. No. Alright, we're actually gonna do 2 at a time. So do that. Take a 1/4 cup of the 1/2 cup of vegetable stock that I have left. Pour that 1/4 cup in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to braise these pork chops. We're going to let this, take a spoon, take the liquid, and we're going to coat these pork chops with this boiling, steaming hot liquid. And this helps use convection to cook the inside of the pork chop with the moisture from the braise. Oh, that's the timer for our potatoes. Go ahead and pull those out and see how those are looking. Ooh, steamy hot. Baby, it's hot, hot, hot. Hot, hot, hot. Alright. Ooh, it's looking pretty good in there. Here, and take the lid off. Spicy. That's a little spice to the meatball. Alright, so there's a little bit more grease from the chorizo than I anticipated. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a slotted spatula over here. And yes, I am draining grease in the sink. Haters are going to hate. Put it back over here. And it does fall right off, so I am just going to throw the lid back on, let the steam do a little extra work while I finish off these pork chops. Alright, we're going to go ahead and remove these 2 pork chops to a clean plate. Let them rest while we finish off the other 2. I'm going to go ahead, since I had to do 2 separate dishes, I'm going to go ahead and dump the rest of this excess out. Nasty sink. And start the process over again with another tablespoon of butter. Alright, so now that our butter's melted, we're going to go ahead and add our last 2 pork chops. And we're going to save this juice that's left over on the plate that these pork chops are resting between sears. So that's important. Alright, once we got that in there, we're going to go ahead and add our last 1/4 cup of vegetable stock. Alright, and we're going to repeat the process again. We're going to tilt the skillet, and we're going to braise the pork chops with the hot liquid. And we're going to do this for about 2 minutes on each side. 2 minutes, 30 seconds on each side, give or take. Alright, so now that our pork chops are done, we're going to go ahead and remove those from the heat. And we're going to keep all the drippings in here. Now that leftover pork grease that I said to save from earlier, we're going to go ahead and pour that little bit in here. Turn the heat down as well. Alright, so we got some handy dandy agave in the raw. This is amazing. This is a great alternative sweetener. I use it in my coffee, tea occasionally, and a lot of cooking. And we're going to add about 2.5, 3 tablespoons of agave in the raw. We're going to let that simmer down. And we're going to take our bag of chili lime almonds that we roasted earlier and broke up. And we're going to dump that bag in right on top. like so. We're gonna take our spoon, just gonna mix it around, get everything mixed up really good. Make sure we bind the agave with the droppings. Now we're gonna take a little bit of butter, just about another, damn it, maybe another tablespoon, throw that on top. Let the butter and the old droppings and the agave and the raw all blend together, combine with the heat. And then we're gonna remove it from the heat once it's done. And we're gonna make our plate, and we're done. All right, so now we're ready to plate this bad boy up. We got our pork chop over here resting, so it's not all juicy whenever we put it on the plate. That's just for presentation purposes. So I'm gonna go ahead and reach in here. Oh, look at how nice that breaks up. That's beautiful. It's exactly, oh, that thing flew all over the place. So that's exactly how we wanted that to look though. So I'm gonna grab one potato. Use my finger to get that off of there. A little bit of jalapeno. And we're gonna do about 4 pieces of potato, maybe 5. 5, actually, odd numbers are better, I think, when it comes to plating. About 5, really good color. Come in here, scoop up some of this cheese and jalapeno goodness. Put that on top. Oh yeah. Scoot that off with the finger. Yummy, yummy in my tummy. Now we're gonna take this beautiful pork chop and place it right here. Piece that in there like Tetris. All right, now we got enough negative space over here and everything's kind of focused in the center. You know, it works. I'm gonna take this napkin, I'm gonna get this ugly piece off of there. It's gross. We don't need that there. All right, so we're almost done. Now we're gonna take a spoon. I'm gonna spoon on some of this sweet and spicy topping on top of the pork chop. And I want this on there, but I also want it off of there. So I'm gonna make sure some of it's falling off over here. Alrighty. And then last but not least, add just a little bit of green onion to the potatoes, maybe falling over the pork chop, fill in that negative space. Get that last little gross bit there. And voila, and there you have dinner number 2, meal number 2 of Not Your Mama's Cooking. This is our sweet and spicy pork chop with the Tex-Mex Hobo Potatoes. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and that's all, folks.